Hey folks, it's John with KGTropicals.com. Really excited to show you that I've finally done something with the interior of the 240 here. If you've been following along, you know that I've been kind of on the fence as to what to do with this tank. I wanted to do something different. I didn't want it to be the same old thing that I've done in a bunch of other tanks. So I started talking to Universal Rocks, I guess it was about a month ago, about ideas, things that we can do. What can we do that's going to be different in this tank from everything that I've done in the past? And this is what we've come up with. The tree stump with the roots down below. I absolutely love it. It looks so real, it's ridiculous. If you're not familiar with Universal Rocks, this is a man-made tree stump here. It's not real wood. That might be your first reaction is, oh, well, why would you put that in a tank with Africans? Doesn't it affect the pH? Well, nope, because this is not real wood that's in here, but it looks and feels just like the real thing. Absolutely unbelievable, except it's completely hollow. So it's not as heavy as a big piece of wood like that would be. And a big piece of wood like that would probably be impossible to get into this tank because I had to bend it around and stuff like that to get it in here. So it's flexible, it's easy to use, it doesn't weigh what you think it does, and it's not going to affect the pH like a huge piece of driftwood would if it was the same size as that. So I am absolutely thrilled. It came in this morning. I did a live unboxing of this on the Tank Talk Facebook group. Hope you got a chance to see that. If you haven't, join the group if you're not a member and watch it. It's pinned to the very top. You can see what this was like when it first came out of the box. Now, I did have to make a minor adjustment to this thing to get it to sit the way I wanted. With a piece like this that has all of this webbing of arms that come out and stuff like that, and you're making it out of a rubbery type material, it's almost impossible for everything to sit perfectly flat. So I made a little adjustment to it to make it sit better and sit more flat on the bottom. If you think about it, it would be impossible to do that. And just imagine if you got a real piece of driftwood, it wouldn't be perfectly flat. You'd probably have to make adjustments to that too. So not a big deal. It was very easy to do. I'm going to show you that in the video coming up. I actually did a video of the whole installation of this thing. So put it in this morning and it's been sitting for a few hours now. Finally, all the little bubbles have popped on it. And also because I put it in there with the fish already in there and the gravel, and this is an established tank, of course the water got all scummy and all of the poop and all of that was rummaged up. So it took a few hours for it to clear up again, but now here we are. So I'm excited about it. Let's go take a look at the installation process and all of that of this, and then we'll come back and I'll give you all my final thoughts. All right, so the first thing that I wanted to do with this, you can see that I wanted to tighten up the back of it a little bit just to see if I could make it sit a little flatter in place. So what I decided to do was drill a small hole, one on each side of the very bottom of this piece, and then use electrical zip ties to kind of pull them in together. Now, I only had short ones, so it took a bunch of them, but still you get to see there what it actually did. I'll just clip the little ends off, no big deal. But that was a great way to kind of bring it all together in the back and just make the bottom sit a little flatter. You don't have to do that, but I decided to do it. And Carl was just sitting there making sure I did a good job. So next we move on to actually clearing out the older rocks with the intention of putting them all back in, but I wanted to get them out of the way so that I could kind of start from scratch. There's only one that I didn't want to move, and that was all the way over to the left, and that's because there's a couple of fish that have made their home in there. You can see there's a little cave opening cut into it. I don't remember where that opening came from, but the fish like to use that. There's two fish that actually live in there, and they're in there all the time. So get everything all cleared out and start moving the gravel out of the way. It's not exactly easy on a tank this deep. And don't make fun of my shorts. I like those shorts. They're comfortable. But this was also a great opportunity to clear off some of the the algae off of the back panel. I mean, why not do it? And plus, I definitely wanted to do it behind where this stump was going to go. Then I also took the brush and swept the gravel forward. I don't want gravel to be underneath this piece because it would serve absolutely no purpose. So using the brush to kind of sweep that out of the way, yeah, it made a mess in the water, but I was expecting that to happen anyway. So now We're going to put this piece in the tank. You can see I'm doing all of this by myself. It's not a huge piece, but the piece is light, it's flexible, so it's something that you don't need help with. If you had a big piece of real wood like this, you would definitely need a couple of people involved to help you get it in there. But just bending it into place, this tank has 3 2-foot openings on the top, so it was a little bit of a challenge getting it in there, but there you go. It goes in without much of a problem at all, and this thing is almost made the perfect depth and the perfect height for this. You can see the top of it goes right up to that overflow. I mean, it could not be a better fit, so just absolutely perfect. So once this thing was back in place, it's time to start putting all of the other decorative rocks back in there. These are also Universal Rocks products. These are hollow rocks, very easy to deal with. You're not going to have to worry about them slipping out of your hand and busting the bottom of your tank or anything like that. Very, very simple. What I wanted to do was use these rocks around the stump to just kind of complement it and, show these products off and show how good they look. And then, of course, once all of these are in place, then I started placing the gravel back into place around it. And I didn't want to do it like any kind of pattern. I just wanted to just put the gravel in place. I wanted it to look as natural as possible. I mean, it can only look so natural because it is a glass box full of water, but still, I wanted to, give it a little bit of natural look, put some of the gravel on top of the stump, the way it would be in nature. And it all worked out really well. I think there's one more rock. In fact, I know there's one more rock that I'm going to put in there kind of in between the root system, just to make it look more natural. And there's also a better look at that little opening there for the home that these fish have made underneath that big rock. I just think it's kind of cute, and I didn't want to disturb that, so I left that rock exactly where it was, and so they can keep doing their thing. So at some point I'm gonna come in here and drop that last rock into place, and we will call this project done. There it is, just a small one. There you go, just to add a little bit more to it. So that's it. They're all Universal Rocks products. There's the finished product. All right, so there you go. Now I'm going to address the first question. It's going to be the first question that somebody was going to ask in the comment section of this video, but I'm going to address it now so you don't even have to ask it. John, aren't you worried about fish going behind that and getting trapped behind it? No, I'm not worried about that at all, because there's plenty of gaps where they can get in and out. My biggest fish in there is that livingstone eye, and he can go in and out no problem. So in fact, I'm actually kind of happy that it's there, because it gives something for the fish to be interested in, and they can swim through it and all of that. I look like I'm dancing here, but they have instantaneously, when I put it in there, they all started swimming in and out and all of that kind of stuff and having some fun with it. So I'm not worried about that at all. There is the risk of, well, what if a fish went back behind there and died? Wouldn't that be an issue? I don't think it would be, because again, the water is flowing through that area pretty well. And I think that if a fish did go back there and die, it would just get blown out, or another fish would be picking at it and probably pull it out or whatever. So I'm not worried about that at all. Also, think about if you bought a real piece of driftwood that was the exact same shape and all of that. First of all, good luck getting it in the tank. But second of all, it's not going to be a perfect 90-degree cut on the back. There's going to be holes, there's going to be gaps and stuff like that. So, even a real piece of driftwood would be that way. I'm not worried about it at all. In fact, I'm glad that it's there. So as far as my impressions and all of that and my final thoughts on this piece, what do you think I'm going to say about it? I mean, Universal Rocks is a company that I've had a relationship with for a few years now, and they have never let me down. They've certainly not let me down here. Their products are absolutely first class. They look and feel very real, and they're a whole lot easier to deal with than a real anything, whether it's a stone background or a piece like this. It's just no-brainer stuff. Everything with the exception of like 2 small rocks that I have in that tank is Universal Rocks products. So if this is a company that you're not familiar with, you look around in that tank, all of that kind of stuff is available. And of course, the full panels type backgrounds that you can put in any size tank. They can even custom make them for you. So commercial for Universal Rocks over, but what did you expect I was going to say about this? I mean, like I said, they've never let me down. They haven't this time either. It completely and dramatically changes the look of this tank like that. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of make a statement with it, do something that I've never done before. I'm not saying nobody's ever done this. That's ridiculous. But it's something that I haven't done before, and I'm really excited to do it. I've dealt with a lot of small rock products and panel products or panel backgrounds from Universal Rocks, but this is the first product I've dealt with from them like this, and I'm just thrilled with it. Who wouldn't be? I mean, look at that thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. So yes, I did have to make that minor adjustment to it that you saw in my installation video, but you know what? That was me being overly picky. I didn't have to do that. It wasn't required that I do that. I did it because I just wanted it to look a certain way, and I wanted those legs to sit a little flatter down in there. You could easily not do what I did, and you could weigh it down with gravel or rocks or something like that, and it would be perfectly fine. But the way it is right now, I love it. I'm glad that I made the adjustments to it, and there you go. It's perfect. It took me 2 minutes to make that adjustment, couple of zip ties, no big deal. So if you've entertained the idea of getting a big decorative piece like this from Universal Rocks, well, now you know what these kind of things look like. You've seen the back panels. Now you know that a big centerpiece like this can definitely make a statement. Now, like I talked about earlier, as far as the placement of it, I didn't see any other possibilities as far as where to put this thing. I felt like this really needed to be a centerpiece. The way it's positioned, I didn't think it would look right if I'd put it over to the side. Now, if I had another one that was like a completely different shape, then sure, put one on each side. That would look unbelievable. But with this, I was looking for a centerpiece. So to me, I didn't think that there was any other place to put it. And if you can tell, it goes absolutely perfect with that overflow. It almost masks the overflow or covers up the overflow. It doesn't cover it up. I mean, it's perfectly functional, but your eye isn't drawn to that overflow right there in the center. So not only does it look fantastic, but it serves another purpose in kind of hiding a little bit of the equipment. So I could not be happier. I was not expecting to not be happy. This is a company that delivers, folks, period. I mean, I've put the thing up in the installation video. If you're not familiar with this company, check them out, universalrocks.com. Look at all of the different things that they have available. If you're somebody that doesn't have aquariums, but you have a pond outside, they make pond rocks. I mean, you go out there, you see some of these ponds that have these huge boulders. Those things weigh tons. You can buy one from them, and it's a man-made product. You can actually handle them, one person, bring them around. No brainer. They make stuff for reptile tanks and enclosures. They make waterfalls, ponds, all of that kind of stuff. Definitely a company worthy of checking out. And their products, they're fantastic. I mean, they just are. They really are. So, and they're not as expensive as you might think. They're not cheap. I'm not going to lie to you. Their products are not cheap. But you know what? When you see them, you get them in your hands and you see that craftsmanship, you see what went into them, you totally understand why they are priced the way they are. I mean, these things are colored and everything and finished by hand. So you don't have a bunch of machines doing these things. So, of course, anything like that and something that's made in the U.S., it's going to come with a price tag. I mean, there's just no way around that. But you know what? It is worth absolutely every single dollar. Now, I don't know if this is a piece that is readily available on their website where you can just click a button and order it. I've looked for it and I haven't found it. Maybe it's something they're adding. I don't really know. Or maybe I was looking in the wrong place. But if you email them over there, if you want one exactly like this, they will answer you right away and they'll take care of you. No question. I mean, they certainly do with me. So easy enough to get in contact with them and get whatever information you need about them. And the products are fantastic. So yeah, just one long big commercial for Universal Rocks. But of course, that's what I'm going to do because why? They're an affiliate of mine. If you put Tank Talk in the promo box, you get 15% off. I mean, come on. And look at the products. I mean, it's worthy of just doing a 10-minute long commercial or however long this video is going to be once I add that other one in there. They deserve it. You know, that's it. Bottom line. So, all right. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you're going to prefer looking at this now rather than the way it was before. I mean, it looked good before because the fish, they were the decorations. But now, I got a real decoration in there. Now it's something, it's an absolute focal point. I couldn't be happier. So, there you go. Hope you enjoy looking at this more than you did just a big, wide open box with fish in it. So, thank you so much for watching this. I look forward to talking to you again next time.